Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome to a new season of iRacing, and we are night racing at the Hockenheim ring in the GT3 Fixed Challenge, and as you can see we've got our work cut out for us. I am car number 18 of a grid of 18 and we messed up both of our qualifying laps, so we are starting at the very back of the grid. So how many places am I going to be able to make up in what will transpire to be an absolutely crazy race? Let's find out as the lights go green. We're coming around the final corner. We've got Gert Zechner on our inside in the orange Porsche, and he's going to have the high ground for the opening corner, so I'm going to give him it. I'm not going to challenge him around the outside. I've got cool tyres and brakes. I'm going to prioritise a good exit, and that looks like it might pay off. As we're in his draft, we swing to the inside. I'm going to try and take advantage of him being on the outside of the track, claim the apex of the corner, and we've already made up a position there on the opening lap. So we're up into 17th position and we're not quite in the draft of the pack of cars up ahead, but that might play to my advantage because the hairpin at the end of this big long straight is the moment of maximum danger on this opening lap at Hockenheim. So I'm going to have plenty of time to try and react to what's going on up ahead if there are collisions, although it looks like everybody remarkably has gotten through cleanly. But then look up the road, there's been a huge shunt on the exit of the hairpin. There are cars strewn all across the track. We get on the brakes, slow right down and try and pick our way through, which we're able to do without coming into contact with any other car. That is crucial because any big accident on this opening lap is basically going to ruin your race for the next 20 minutes. So we got a little bit lucky there in that the road sort of opened up for us through that collision, but I was also taking it nice and slow and giving myself the best chance of surviving that huge shunt. And there's been another accident up ahead. We again just about managed to follow Galka through that one and get clear of the spinning car off to the left hand side. So you can see here, full of drama this opening lap, full of risk, and we've managed to navigate that safely as we come around to the end of lap 1. We started in 18th, dead last in this race. I've no idea where we're running at the moment because I just don't know how many cars were involved in those various shunts. And as the standings update, it looks like we're actually into the top 10. We're in 10th position as we come around the corner to start lap 2. Unbelievable. Let's take a look back then at that opening lap action. Here we are down the inside of Zechner into the right hander there, and we're able to make up a position. It looked like there was another car off to the right hand there, so we actually made up 2 positions into that corner. This then is how that huge shunt played out up ahead of us. We're following Baumgartner on the outside of the hairpin there. He basically gets ran out of road onto the grass. He's going to come back across the track, makes contact with one driver, then gets launched into the air. There's more collisions behind. Baumgartner gets hit twice more by other cars trying to pick their way through. What a mess of a collision this was. And I don't know whether Baumgartner really should have been rejoining in that way, but really got squeezed out of the track as soon as he rejoins. He's hit another 3 times, and that is an absolute disaster for a number of drivers on this grid. This is the vantage point of Diaz, who you can see is the one who gets tagged by Baumgartner rejoining the track. He's put into the wall, and that absolutely destroys his steering. You can see he's going to have opposite lock on just to drive straight. This, though, is Richard Pelzer slaloming his way through the crashes up ahead. Unbelievable, avoiding action from him. And then finally, this is Ruiz just getting up on the curb, spinning the car round. We managed to avoid him on the left-hand side of the track. We rejoin the live action then just as we're about to start lap 3 of the race. We're still behind Mikhail Galka and Javier San up ahead as we come through T1, then just take a little bit of curb. That's going to slow us down, and look at that, we got Gert Zechner who followed us through all of that chaos on the opening lap. He's now going to put a challenge on us down the inside into the right-hander. He's got the high ground of the corner. I have to give him space on the inside. He's got to nose ahead as we come out onto the back straight. He will be half a car length ahead of us. He's got a better exit as well. You'll see him emerging then across the right hand side of the screen. He's then going to try and retake the racing line just up ahead of me. I'm going to swing down to the inside line and see if I can't attack back into the hairpin later on the brakes. I've now got the high ground. If I can hold the apex of the corner, get the car turned and get good traction out of the corner, and we've managed to take that place straight back. Brilliant racing with Zechner once again. Here's a very quick replay of it then. He's down our inside as we head onto the back straight. Once again, he's going to have the momentum coming out of the corner, and you can see then, rather than holding the inside line, which would have allowed him to secure the move, he attempts to cut us off and get back on the racing line for the hairpin. We think quickly, get down his inside, and at this point he can't really move back across to cover off the inside line, and I'm able to get the car slowed down, turned in, and good traction out of the corner, crucially, to be able to consolidate that position once more then. But brilliant racing in amongst all of the chaos. Really enjoyable side-by-side action with a number of drivers here. We rejoin as we're approaching the 5-minute mark then. We've got Galka and Sands still up ahead of us, Zekner still trailing behind as we come into the stadium section once more. And look at that, we're getting really big pressure from behind there as we come through the right-hander. We come into the left-hander here, and San has made a mistake. We're going to have to again take avoiding action. We're up onto the curb. Zekner has read that brilliantly. He's down our inside, and we've also got Remo Esco on our outside. We're side by side through the final corners of the lap. We're able to hold the inside. That squeezes Esco out of space. He has to slot in back behind us, but we have lost a position there just as quickly as we gained one from San, losing it through the stadium section. We're side by side in T1 as well as Esco dives down our inside. I'm able to hold it around the outside of the corner. This is fantastic, but very, very intense racing. As again, we're going to try and get back past Zekner as quickly as we can. He holds the inside of the corner very, very nicely. I'm hoping to benefit from his draft because I've got Esco 0.2 seconds behind me at this point of the race. That means he's going to be well within our slipstream to try a move down into the hairpin. We've got cars all over the track up ahead of us. I'm going to stick to the racing line, and that does leave the door open for Esco, who's going to be down our inside. I run it in slightly deep into the hairpin too. I'm on the curbing on the exit, and I'm in danger of losing another position to Crook, who's got a nose down our inside. Thankfully, he thinks better of sticking that down through the kink, because that then could have easily led to an accident. Let's take a look back at that action, and there's San off on the infield. That means we had to take a wider line through that corner. It gives Zekner the opportunity to get past. Esco tries to be opportunistic too and get through as well as Zekner. I'm able to cover that off on the inside of the corner, but he gets a much better exit down the start finish straight. He's right underneath my rear wing. He's going to attempt to get us down into T1. We each give each other space. Going side by side through that corner is not easy. I was able to hold it around the outside. Brilliant racing, but it wouldn't last for too long as Esco had the momentum down the big back straight. He takes the inside line into the hairpin. I don't defend it overly strongly, and in fact I run it out very wide, which gives Crook an opportunity to get right the way alongside me actually, and I'm grateful that he didn't seek to stick that down the next corner, because that could have been a big accident. We rejoin then with just 6 minutes gone in this race, just another couple of corners on from where we left the live action previously as we're coming in to the stadium section. Zekner and Galka challenging up ahead. They've come together. One car off to the left, another off to the right. We're slaloming through the action once again, and I try and get down the inside of Remo Esco as he was slowed down by having to take avoiding action. Unfortunately, just didn't have the momentum to make that stick, but we've made up another 2 positions. There's the collision between the 2 drivers up ahead of us. Unbelievably fortunate to be able to just slalom our way through. But there were battles like this all the way through the field. We pick up here the fight for the lead of the race between Mendes, up in the lead there at the moment, and Hayes, who is trying to fight back around the outside of the right-hander here. They're side by side. He just about holds it around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, Hayes, but then he just makes contact with Mendes, who turned in. They're both around, and then the driver in 3rd place tries to get through the middle of them, but also loops it on corner exit. Mendes managed to rejoin, but a lap later, there he goes, losing it on the curbing at T1 and into the barrier, all of which promoted us up into 7th position. And we rejoin the live action from my vantage point with just 5 minutes left on the race clock, but we are coming under huge pressure from Crook behind. You can see we've also lost a little bit of touch with the drivers up ahead as I'm increasingly having to drive quite defensively just to keep Christopher Crook behind us. He's less than half a second behind us as we cross the start finish line once again, but we do have a decent gap back to San in 9th position, so we are looking very good here for a top 10 finish, which is remarkable given we started at the very back of the grid. I'm going to show you some highlights then from Crook's perspective, because especially racing in the dark, it's a little bit difficult difficult to get a sense of just how close the racing was from my vantage point, where we're having to look in my rear view mirror, so you can see just how closely he's following us through these corners here, all the way through the lap here. But it's very difficult to mount an overtake. You can see he's trying to distract me behind that. He might put a move down into T1. He thinks better of it, and actually consistently we were getting a better run through that corner. We fast forward again down into the hairpin again, shaping to the inside, but he's really trying to prioritise, I think, taking a tighter line than I am through this corner to get a better exit, trying to spook me on the entrance to maybe go in a little bit deep. But so far it has not worked. But we're rounding the final corner now for the penultimate time. We're about to head onto the last lap, and look at how close those lights are in my rear view mirror at the top of the screen. He's basically less than a tenth of a second behind. He doesn't challenge us down the inside though. As we come down the straight and head towards the right-hander here, I have to spot my braking carefully here because I need to get a good exit from this corner all the way down the back straight. I've gone in slightly deep, but it looks like it's worked out okay. His best opportunity to get past me here is surely going to be into the hairpin for the final time. He's in our draft. He's 0.2 seconds behind me here, so this is going to be very, very tight. Do I go defensive or not and risk compromising my line? I'm going to stick to the outside. He has a little look down the inside. Again, he's on the brakes earlier than I am to maybe try and undercut me through the exit of the corner. Not able to do it, so I've got the position secured on the exit of the corner here as we come through the very tight middle section. Not really a chance to overtake here as long as I keep it neat and tidy and spot the apex. He's too far back to make a lunge down the left-hander there, so I'm able to hold the position once again as I'm getting ready for the stadium section. Very tricky set of corners here. This is probably going to be his last opportunity here, not through this right-hander but through the left-hander that follows. If I make a mistake here through the corner, I'm able to carry decent speed, but you can see again looming large in my mirror, and I'm slightly deep into the left hand. He makes a move down the inside, but not enough to actually squeeze past, and I'm able to hold the position. 2 corners left to go here. I've got to hold it steady. He's down my inside again on the right hand side, but he thinks better of it. Once more, I think, trying to balance a good exit from the corner, and he's got a better exit. He's got a car length alongside me, halfway down my inside, but we're just able to get to the finish line in time and claim 7th position. Unbelievable racing there on the final lap between myself and Crook. Really fair challenge there from behind. I think he had the pace on me, to be honest, but he was patient. He raced very, very cleanly and accepted in the end that making a clean pass was just not possible. If there'd been one more lap on the race, then I think he would have definitely got past me here, as you can see from his vantage point, and then from the helicam. Look at how close that was as we crossed the start finish line side by side. Hugely enjoyable race. I mean, really, really enjoyable. And there's the final classified results. We are in 7th position, an unbelievable finish considering where we qualified and ultimately where we were rated. We were car number 18 of that grid. So a fantastic way to start the new iRacing season. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you might also like the one that's up on screen now. Give it a click and I'll see you on the next one.